forecast growth this year and next year at 3.9%, which is more than the 3.7% that you may have heard about back in October. It's clearly a pickup in our projection, and we maintain it this year and next. The momentum has been driven by stronger investment and a rebound in trade. It is broad-based, and it involves the US, Europe, Japan, China, as well as many other emerging and developing countries, yet not all. So overall, the near-term prospect for the global economy continues to be bright. At the same time, while the sun is shining, not today in Washington, but usually, while the sun is shining, we are seeing more clouds accumulating on the horizon than we did back in October. Let me just take you through some of those downside risks as we see them. Some of you will remember that back in October, we said it is when the sun is shining that you fix the roof. So first thing, have some governments taken measures to fix their roof? Well, some have, but certainly not all. And more needs to be done to sustain this upswing and foster long-term growth. Second downside risk, global debt is at an all-time high. It stands at $164 trillion, which is 225% of GDP, of which the private sector accounts for 2/3. Public debt in advanced economies is at levels not seen since the Second World War. And in low-income countries, if recent trends continue, many, not all, will face unsustainable debt burden. Third cloud. Financial vulnerabilities have increased due to high debt, rising financial market volatility, and elevated asset prices. A sudden tightening of financial conditions could lead to market corrections, unsustainable debt, and capital flows reversals. One more downside risk that is on everybody's mind relates to international cooperation, which has served us so well over generations, helping to reduce poverty and deliver more progress for more people than at any time in history. This international framework is now being questioned, especially with respect to trade. So with these clouds, so there are downside risks. They're not happening at the moment, but those are the risks we are facing. What can policymakers do to respond to that? We are publishing today, and I think you've received a copy of it, our Global Policy Agenda for 2008. In that GPA, as we call it, we outline our recommendations. First, step up the structural reform. So once again, when the sun is shining, fix the roof, identify what is going to improve growth in the medium term, and what could prevent a disappointing return to this mediocre that we had identified for advanced economies, and what will help low-income countries in particular catch up and better develop towards the Sustainable Development Goals of 2030. So first, structural reforms. Second, build policy buffers. In other words, create more room to act when the next downturn comes around. How do they do that? By reducing government deficits in a growth-friendly way and by allowing more exchange rate flexibility where appropriate. And third policy, steer clear of all protectionism measures. In that respect, we believe that each country can do more, from looking at its own domestic policies to helping those affected by the dislocation from technological change and trade. So that relates to measures that need to be taken at home to improve compliance, but also to deal with those that are not benefiting from trade. We know that unilateral trade restrictions have not proven helpful. and we suspect that they might even dent confidence. So countries, in our view, should work together to resolve disagreements without using exceptional measures. In all these efforts, we at the IMF are supporting our 189 members through analysis, advice, and also by offering a platform for dialogue and better cooperation. Because we know that when countries work together in that spirit of cooperation, problems are better resolved, and they're resolved in a multilateral way.
We're expecting global growth to edge up to 3.1% in 2018, its strongest performance since 2011. As the recovery in investment, manufacturing, and trade continues, and as commodity exporting developing economies benefit from firming commodity prices. The challenge now is to ensure that strong growth will translate into inclusive growth so that the benefits of global economic integration are enjoyed by all members of society. This period of robust growth is a great opportunity to invest in human and physical capital, filling infrastructure gaps, improving education and health outcomes, and increasing female labor force participation could continue to drive growth. If policymakers around the world focus on these key initiatives, they can increase their country's productivity, boost workforce participation, and move closer to the goals of ending extreme poverty and increasing shared prosperity. I'd like to discuss a few items that are on the agenda for us at these meetings. This morning, we launched the latest edition of our global Findex Financial Inclusion Database, which tracks how people use financial services. Financial inclusion is an important stepping stone out of poverty, and we're seeing that globally, financial inclusion is on the rise. Digital technology is driving access to and the use of financial services. But there's still a wide gender gap. I hope you have seen these latest findings. As you know, the World Bank Group is dedicated to ending poverty wherever it exists in our client countries. We're always looking to leverage every available resource to meet the immense challenges our clients face. And I want to mention two specific initiatives to support that effort. First, this week we introduced a significant new financial innovation. IDA, the World Bank's Fund for the Poorest Countries, made its debut in the capital markets, joining a select group of top-tier supranational issuers with an inaugural bond that raised $1.5 billion from investors around the world. IDA's entry to the global capital markets is historic, the latest transformational shift in how we approach development finance. With its funding program in place, IDA will be able to dramatically scale up financing to help countries meet the 2030 development goals and deliver greater value to shareholders. IDA benefits from the World Bank Treasury's 70-year track record in the global capital markets. It inherits IBRD's reputation as an innovative issuer in connecting markets with development impact. Second, as you may recall, at the annual meetings last fall, our shareholders, represented through the Development Committee, asked the board and bank management to review all possible options to enhance IBRD and IFC's financial capacity and develop a package of measures for governors' consideration. The bank group's management has engaged in extensive, detailed discussions with our board and member countries, and the Development Committee will meet this Saturday, April 21st, to discuss the proposals. We believe we've made a good case for how a stronger World Bank Group can meet the aspirations of our shareholders, respond to global challenges, mobilize capital at scale, and make the institution even more efficient and effective. That said, decisions on financial capacity are up to our member countries, and we look forward to the discussion on Saturday, which will be headed by Sri Mulyani Indrawati, Indonesia's finance minister, who chairs the Development Committee. Finally, in that spirit of the great legacy of Sri Mulyani, not only as finance minister, but as a former managing director here at the World Bank Group, we're looking forward to very successful annual meetings this fall in Indonesia. I met with the leaders, and the preparations seem to be going extremely well. At the Indonesia meetings, we'll take another step forward with the Human Capital Project, a rigorous, detailed measure of the human capital in each country which will help our clients invest more and more effectively in their people. We will be releasing an index to rank countries according to how well they're investing in the human capital of the next generation. The measurement will provide information that heads of state and finance ministers need, the measurement will provide information that heads of state and finance ministers need to know in order to invest to build human capital. And the index will make those measurements hard to ignore.